If this were a fish and I were a white man on Tinder, this would be really impressive. Hello. I'm gonna tell it to you straight. YouTube consists of a lot of racking your brain to try to find stuff that is enticing and alluring. It requires a lot of brain power. My brain is feeling particularly smooth this week, much like Timothée Chalamet's butt cheeks. I'm speculating. I don't have it in me to come up with something clever, so we're just gonna do something that I've been wanting to do. I kind of miss sewing, which is weird. More specifically, I miss just sewing myself items that I'm actually gonna wear. It kind of comes with the territory of being a content creator where you kind of want to make stuff that's extravagant and really interesting to watch. That's not this week. We are just going to make a dress that I saw in a video game once. It grabbed me in the fiercest chokehold. I have to have it. I gotta make it. With that said, let's just get into it. Let me show you the dress in question. Okay, the dress that I am specifically thinking of is from Plague Tale Requiem, which, as someone who struggles to say the word L and R's, the first challenge of this game is just saying the title. Plague Tale Requiem. Nailed it. I am obsessed with both this game and the first game. I highly recommend. Unless you maybe have a fear of rats, then I probably wouldn't suggest it. I feel like a proper gamer. Smash that like button.
What do you want to see?
Okay, first off, we're greeted with this beautiful lady. Hello. Not exactly the dress we're looking for. Moving on. Playing through this the first time, I felt like this looked like an accidental Renaissance painting. Look at her, she's so bored. He is totally explaining how flat the earth is to her right now. Beautiful town. All right, let's go.
Why not change your hairstyle? Thank you, but I like it like this.
All right, where is she after being heckled? Y'all wrestling. There she is.
Just look at these colours.
She's glorious, and I love her. I want to be her. Here we go. Is definitely corduroy, which I did not realize, but that's okay. Mother freaking frick! No, put your arms down. Yep. Okay, go through your NPC motions. Put your damn arms down, woman. And snap, cute little hat. And then we have this green dress, laced. Descriptive. I'm mainly gonna focus on the green dress, and then the apron I think would really be cute. Come on, little mama, let me see what you hiding back there. And that's what the back looks like. Pretty simple. She's got little spool trinkets of some kind. Adorable, and I might have to make those. Right now she looks like a deity.
I'm not worthy, your whimsical majesty.
So this is the dress, and this is the vibe. Personally, I always say, forget being the main character of your own life, just be the random NPC who sells flowers and herbs and wears cute little trinkets around their waist. Let's go. So for my goal for this project, and to channel my inner flower shop owner, I'm going to make the base dress, and then the apron, and the little doodads. Okay, let's talk about materials and the pattern piece I'm gonna use. You know, our trip to Costa Rica and seeing this plant out in the wild, in which I saw the leaves range from small infant all the way to Elijah Wood sized. It's a little humbling. It's a little ironic that I'm making a video about becoming this ancient florist and master of plants when my plants have the audacity to look like that. A little too ironic, don't you think? No, Alanis. Those aren't ironies, those are inconveniences.
Drink up now.
I just want you to thrive. I'm just gonna prop this up like that. Looking healthy already. Propping up my plant's corpse like Weekend at Bernie's. I have opted for a linen fabric, which I got a proper ton online. I think I might have gotten 8 or 9 yards, just because I know I want the skirt to be very full. This project is not one of my cheaper projects. I'm just really interested in making something that I can wear over and over and over again. It's important to me that I use good materials for that. This will be for the main dress. You would be surprised, or maybe you wouldn't if you're on this channel, how many different shades of green there are. So this was kind of the closest I could get without being bright green. It's pretty soft, but I'm thinking I might line the bodice area with a softer fabric. I can foresee this being just a little bit itchy. There's that. I'm really not too concerned with what the apron is made out of. Do actually want to use this as a gardening apron. This year is the year of us actually tackling the landscaping at our house because it's atrocious. I do want to be able to just wipe dirt on there, you know, at the risk of sounding like an early 2000s Walkman on the bus on your way to school, skipping at every possible bump in the road. I think I'm going to use pattern pieces that I've already used. I may be a one-trick circus bear, but I fear change. So I picked out this for the bodice. It fits me well. We're just gonna modify this a little bit, as I usually do, replacing the button with a laced up corset kind of vibe. Just a giant pinafore. Just call me Rachel Pinafore Maksy. And then for the skirt, have previously made a couple different skirt patterns. Actually, this one looks like a midi, so it's not this one. It's this bad boy. Large. If this were a fish and I were a white man on Tinder, this would be really impressive. It requires a bunch of these panels. I think like 8 panels, flowy, swooshy, grand, and it will be stupendous. I'm gonna run out to my fabric stash and see what I have for the apron and then the lining fabric. And then I think we are just about ready to get started. Let's go. You know how I said I didn't care too much about the apron fabric? Well, I lied. I kind of do, apparently, because I don't really have anything that I like in my fabric stash. Which, as a person who almost exclusively wears creams and whites, I'm surprised and shocked. Change of plans. I am going, oh, this camera's so heavy. I am going to run to the thrift store and see what I can find, because I'm pretty sure I can find like a tablecloth or maybe a curtain or a bed sheet or something else that can work. Tally-ho.
There was a lovely assortment of curtains and bed sheets and tablecloths that I could have chose from, but I meandered myself over to the pillowcase section and found this lovely lady, and so I decided she shall come home with me.
I'm back. As you saw, I did pick out this, pardon your reach, long square pillowcase. Because I'm me, I saw this placemat and I thought it was cute, so I got it because it was $1.49 and it's leaf shaped, so I couldn't leave it behind. I have no idea what I'm gonna do with this, but I just thought it was really cute. So, green striped fabric, bed sheet, I don't know. Oh, and then this. This cat was absolutely giving me the eyes, and it is so ripped. Oh, look at that 6-pack. Or like 6-back. So, I have everything I need to get started. Let's lay out the fabric and then the lining fabric and start cutting out the bodice pieces. Let's go. Easy peasy. I'm gonna call it quits for today. Good progress. I got this done, the lining done. It fits how I'd like it. So that means tomorrow we can move on to the skirt. Skirt! And I shall see you first thing tomorrow morning. Floor troll, assume the position. All right, now it is time to do the skirt, which I'm gonna lay all the fabric on the floor, try to layer it up as much as I can without completely destroying my scissors, cutting out probably 8 or 9 panels. The things we do for swoosh. Let's get on with it. Oh, I see. Oh my God, I hate this part. Okay. Now because I'm not a complete monster, I'm gonna iron this. Okay. Okay, I was able to squeeze 7 panels, I think, right? 1, 2, oh. Behold, not as much as I wanted, but you know what? I'll get what I can take, and this is already really heavy. It's also fraying a lot already, so looks something like this times 7, which I think should be fine. I have, oh my God. Now I have the fun task of pinning these all together. Not hard work, but it's definitely gonna take me a while. Hey girl. I have been blessed today. Hello girl. Hey Mimo. Ooh, oh, you nasty. I am going to get to work. Yep, okay, here I go. How are you? Not to be ragging on Mother Nature, but I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of this time of year. March into April, specifically in Massachusetts. It's cold, it's gray, it's brown. We're starting to see tiny little buds on the trees. I know for a fact that the leaves really don't come back until mid to late May. My mental health could really do with some green leaves right about now. Patience is a virtue, so we're just gonna wait. And when spring comes, I will have this dress ready to frolic. Want to hear something kind of funny and also kind of infuriating? A big part of me as a person. This is the sewing machine that I learned to sew on. 2014, 2015 were like $100. But being someone who realized that I do quite a lot of sewing now, I got myself an upgrade, a more expensive machine. I got a Singer. That was 7 months ago. Have I used or so much as touched that machine since I got it? Well, I'm gonna let you take an educated guess using how well you know me as a person. And you know why? When it comes time to teaching myself how to use a completely different machine from this little dinkle-winkle over here, I just get too intimidated and too overwhelmed, and so I just never sat down and actually taught myself how to use it. It is just sitting in my barn, taunting me. This is what happens when I try to buy myself nice new things. Why learn new thing when old thing still work? I'm starting to think that this linen isn't meant for clothing and that I probably should have washed this before. Do you ever just feel yourself being really annoying as a person, but you're also not gonna change? Okay. If I was a sewing professional watching any of my videos, I think I would probably resemble Smeagol with the amount of hair that I would have left. Yeah, well. Anywho, I am excited for spring. Like I mentioned earlier, this year is going to be when we tackle all our outside stuff, which I'm a little intimidated about. Not only am I not great at keeping indoor plants alive, but somehow I also kill outdoor plants, which is really, honestly, kind of impressive. They usually end up doing okay when I first plant them, but then they get too hot or something and shrivel up like that little old lady from SpongeBob. What's all that yelling? I'm guessing the answer to that is not planting them in spots in the yard that get direct sun. Why can't life just be like The Sims? Type in motherload about 60 times, head to build mode, and then go ham on the landscaping. Do you ever feel like when you're talking to someone you can actually see this symbol appear above their heads? Did not mean for this to turn into the most random tangent you've ever heard in your entire life. I am going to crack on with this. See you in a bit. Here's the whole skirt panel. That's all gathered and has a waistband. Looks something like that. Obviously it's a little long. I want to leave myself decent room for a hem. And then I did go in, which I think maybe you might be a little proud of me, finished the seams. Notice that it was fraying a lot. I really want this to last long. I'm pretty sure I was supposed to press this down, finish both flaps, but I felt like that was gonna take me a really, really long time. Now I'm going to go get a thicker fabric from my stash and then make like almost like a bias tape for the waist. That is my waist measurement. Attach that to this so that it's a little bit more sturdy. I want everything to be a little bit more well-made than I usually do. And then, yeah, and then we can start figuring out how to attach this to the bodice, figure out the enclosure situation. The bodice is gonna be laced up, the skirt isn't, so I kind of have to figure out when I attach it to the bodice, how I'm gonna close the skirt all together. I'm assuming just hooks and eyes and then like some snaps, but we'll get there when we get there. I'm going to do what I just told you 20 seconds ago.
Because I really don't do all that much measuring when I do my gathering, I had to think about this a little bit. And then redo it, which honestly would probably take me the same amount of time as if I were just to take the time to measure it in the first place. But where's the chaos in that? Then I marked off where my waist hit on the bodice and got the lining ready, but then realized I forgot to do the sleeves, which kind of ended up being hot garbage. So taking the strap that came with the pattern, I cut it out, leaving a little space. Because the reference sleeves are a little wider in the middle, I tried to do that and it looked horrible, so I folded it over to make it symmetrical. It still wasn't symmetrical. I probably should have just made a pattern piece out of paper, but I decided just to go with it. So I pinned them together, sewed them, turned them inside out, which took forever, and they ended up looking like these weird little space slugs. But once I ironed them, they actually looked kind of cute. Once those were attached to the outer layer, I took the lining and put that on top, matching all of the corners and all of the edges. I then decided I wanted a little bit more stability where the laces were gonna go, so I took some interfacing, cut that in half, used my big brain and put it in between the lining and the outer layer. Then quickly realizing I'm a big dum-dum, took that out, put the interfacing on top of the lining, so that way when it's inside out, it is in the middle.
All right, got the lining, outer layer, straps, and everything. So now I'm gonna turn it inside out and see if it actually worked. The truly exciting thing about sewing is that no matter how many times you've done something, there's always a chance that you've completely f***ed it. So, let's go see. It works. What sucks about using this pattern as just the top to a dress is that this would be really friggin' cute on its own. No. Yeah. I'm gonna do it. Okay, in typical me fashion, I am gonna turn this dress into two separates because I'll tell you why. First of all, that solves my problem of how to enclose the skirt even though the top is corseted. And number two, practicality. If I don't feel like wearing the full dress, then I can use this as its own separate, and then I can wear the skirt separately without the top. Why would you make one item of clothing when you can get two? Change of plans requires just a little bit more thinking. First of all, I need to finish this hem. And then for the skirt, make a waistband and a hook and eye closure. Just a lot of small finishing stuff that's gonna take quite a while to do. I'm gonna put that aside so that we can do the little details like the apron, the little thread doohickeys. Let's do that. For lack of a better, more creative idea how to make these little spools, I'm just gonna make them out of some leftover clay that I have from another project. They look like they're about hand length. I don't know, we're just gonna wing it. Roll this out. Yeah, point at the bottom. Oh boy, looks like a weird dreidel. I could maybe see that being made out of wood, right? Don't answer that. I'm calling that good enough. Now I have to make two more. They look like little jousting swords for squirrels. So bulbous. You know what? I'm happy with those. Okay, off to the oven they go. Woof. The apron, I think should be pretty easy. Looking at the reference image, it's pretty short and not all that wide of an apron. Kind of like a little bib. just a little below her hands. Kind of just ends where the front of her ends. So I only need one layer of this 2-layered pillowcase, and I'll save the rest for some other project, I'm sure. Get to chopping. Let's go.
So to make this apron, I started with a dado break.
There will be no white flag above my door.
After that necessary step, I started chopping. So the sides are going to act as the strap, and then the bottom is the waistband. I could then trace out half of the apron shape, fold that over because I want it to be symmetrical, and cut it out. The apron is looking really cute so far, but admittedly it is pretty stark and white. I, someone of little patience, is now going to perform the poor man's dye job, which means I'm going to take a bowl, some hot water, black paint, the slightest bit of this paint. Okay, mix that around. So it's just a bit murky. It's okay if there's still a little bit of chunks in there. Taking that apron, dipping it in there. Bitty doo-dah. Probably pick up some of those chunks. Whoops, making a mess. A little bit more. Whoop. I think that'll do it. And drain it out and let it dry. Then it was time to make the corset holes, so I took my very fancy measuring implement. A leather punching tool, which I'm gonna be honest took all my strength. Since I was so suddenly overcome by the grip strength of an 87-year-old woman, I called it in. Hey neck, can I use your muscles for a second? Thank you. Once my incredible strength yielded these holes, it was time to embroider them. The reference photo has metal grommets, but I like how this looks much better, and I find that it lasts a lot longer for me. Then it was time to paint the little spools. I don't know. I just did my best here. Clearly not with filming though, because here's a close-up of my strands of hair.
Wow.
Then I simply took some embroidery floss and wrapped it around. Hot glued some strings towards the end of it, which I wasn't sure was going to work, but it actually did. I then glued those strings to a little bit of interfacing that I could stick in my skirt. And with that, we are ready.
Done. She is complete. Wait, I need way more room than this. Huh. Ready? Come on. Wrap up time. What went well? What didn't go well? Overall, I'm so ecstatic with the dress itself. The apron, I don't know. I'm not crazy about it. It was probably the quickest thing I've ever made in my entire life. But again, I kind of made it so I can throw it on and like rub dirt on it. So what's the big deal? Thank you. The little doodads, I think, are super freaking cute. I thought they were gonna look dumb, and they kind of look dumb. Not fully dumb. I'll totally take that as a win. And yeah, so I'm gonna take all this extra stuff off so you can actually see the dress itself. Dress. Oh. So here it is without the apron, so you can see it a little bit better. Pretty much exactly what I was going for. Stand by my decision of making this a two-piecer. Very comfy, very heavy, which I do like, but also trying to navigate myself around my house when I'm like frazzled and frustrated and trying to gather everything to film. Do not recommend. I think if I had done 8 or 9 panels, it would be even heavier, so I think this is totally fine. I know that you're really supposed to cut skirts on like a diagonal. I didn't have enough fabric for that, so it's fine. And then the top, I'm really happy with it. So let me show you what the corset looks like without the skirt. Oh, oops. And she looks like that, which I think is so cute. So yeah. I know I've probably said this before, but I think it's just crazy, the idea of sewing literally a pile of fabric a couple days ago, which I think is pretty cool. It's totally a different beast when it's trying to make clothes that you're actually going to wear versus like cosplay sewing, which is I think what I tend to usually do. Anywho, that's it. I hope that this was fun to watch. I guess a little bit more of a simple project. Selfishly, I just wanted to make something for myself. I have a big old project that I'm starting next week. That should take me a while to do, so I'm really excited to show you guys that. A couple more fun little projects. But yes, I'm glad you're here. If you want extra bonus content, my Patreon, $5 a month. If you would like to join the fellowship over there, I would very much love to have you. If not, that's cool, man. That is it. I love you whether you're new or old to this channel. If you're new here and you feel like sticking around, feel free to subscribe. I upload every other Friday. And we have fun here. And I will see you in my next video. Bye. I don't know how to. Oh wait, I think I do. Dying in the street, Mrs. Mooney at a pie shop.
I'm in love and always will be.
You're welcome for that exclusive performance.